Hey everybody, Captain Cantor here. I'm going to go ahead and process a couple of discharges. I'm going to go ahead and do the first one kind of quickly, just go through the motions so you can use as a reference point, and then after that I'll do a second one and kind of go into detail to explain the process more in depth. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're on the forum page. If you're on the front end, just click on your drop down there. You're going to need to go into the admin CP. It's going to ask you to log in. So I'll go ahead and sign in. Now that I'm signed in, you'll go ahead and mouse over to PersCom, and then you're going to go to Soldiers. Find the soldier I'm discharging. So today I am doing Koning. I'm going to first part here is add an assignment record. He is transferring today from Alpha Company 1st Platoon to Discharged. His position is going to change to Civilian. Supervisor doesn't need to change. Status will change to Civilian. And then we do not need to attach a document or send a notification. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now I'm going to go back to Soldiers, type in his name again, and now I'm going to Discharge Soldier. Okay, I'm going to double check the settings, save personnel file, remove the user groups, send notification, and add service record entry. Grade is going to be, in this case, an entry level separation. His status is Civilian, and his combat unit is discharged. I'm going to Discharge Soldier. And then at this point, I will just double check by going to personnel files and do a quick search. Nope, he's not on the list anymore, so we are good to go. That's the process to discharge. So let's go ahead and do another one, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit more in detail here. So I'm going to work on discharging Terrio here. So the first thing I'm going to do is add an assignment record. So to explain this here, I did that incorrectly, but to explain this here, let's find Terrio. So here he is. I'm going to go ahead and look at his personnel file. So when you look at his personnel file, there's a couple things. You'll see that he has his current status here, his position, and his combat unit all listed here. And then also when we look at his assignment record, we will see that he's most recently been assigned to Alpha Company 1st Platoon 3rd Squad as a squad leader. So we're going to go back into Soldier here. We are adding the new assignment record. So he's going from 3rd Squad to the discharged user group or assigned unit. It's going to automatically default to do not change, do not change, do not change, do not change. So you're going to need to deselect those where applicable. We're going to give him the assigned unit of discharged. Position, we're going to change to Civilian. Supervisor does not need to change. Status will change to Civilian, and then we do not attach a document, and you do not need to send a notification. So we can save that. And what that's done is that has added an assignment record in here. So if we refresh this, we will see that he has been discharged as a civilian. So this is important because when a soldier comes back from being discharged, which a lot of times they do, we're going to then do an additional assignment record assigning them to whatever unit they're going to be in. So if he were to come back to go to, say, Bravo Company 1st Platoon 1st Squad, it's going to look like, if he comes back in October of 2019, it's going to look like he was in Alpha Company 1st Platoon 3rd Squad from October 2018 all the way until October 2019, where he then transferred to Bravo Company. So that's why we want to make sure that we add the discharge assignment record so that it reflects here in their service record that they were discharged for however long of a period. Now, at this point, we're going to go back to Soldiers. We're going to look up the name again. And at this point, we're going to do the Discharge Soldier. There's a couple of reasons we're doing Discharge Soldier and the assignment record. I've already explained the assignment record. The Discharge Soldier, the biggest reason we're doing it is so that we can remove their user groups. So in his case, he is currently in a journalist position, so he has access to our public affairs office. Everything that public affairs can do, he can still do. Even if he's discharged or he's in the discharged combat unit, which you can see here, he's in the combat unit for discharged. His position is discharged, and his status, while not visible, is civilian, because civilian status is white, and that's why you can't see it. Regardless, it doesn't matter, because once he's discharged, nobody's going to see this page anyway. However, he is still in this user group, so he's going to have access to all that. We don't want civilians having access to post things on our front page in the news, or edit different news articles, or Soldier the Quarter articles, things like that. So we want to make sure that we're removing their user groups. The discharge process is going to automatically remove all of that soldier's user groups so that they no longer have access. First thing you're going to see on the discharge page is this warning message here. Are you sure you want to discharge this soldier? You cannot reverse this decision. We do not delete any records. Ensure that the default settings below are correct. Delete sections are not checked. If for some reason you need to delete records, contact myself, Captain Cantu. So the reason why this is kind of notated this way is because you do have some discharge options. You can save the personnel file. You can delete the service records. You can delete the combat records. You can delete the assignment records. Remove the soldier from their user groups, as I was talking about. Send a notification to the soldier, and then add a service record entry to the soldier's personnel file. I know you're questioning the service record entry there because I talked about the assignment record. The service record and the assignment record are two different things. So when you're looking at the soldier's personnel file, the assignment record is over here, and you can see that the service record is going to be here. So it is going to put a notation in the service record, but for the sake of clarity, when we're looking at a soldier's assignment records, we want to make sure that that assignment record is also reflecting the discharge. That's why we're doing that two-step process. I know it's a little tedious having to do 2 steps in this, but it's for the sake of clarity of our paperwork. We want to make sure that we're thorough on all of it. In the future, we're looking at working on ways to simplify that process, but that may be a couple months down the line. So just follow the process this way for now. Now this section here, the discharge options, is actually disabled. The reason why it's visible is because, for one, the reason why all these options are here is because PERSCOM is designed for not just Third ID, but for various other units out there that are going to be using PERSCOM. So some of the units may choose to, when a soldier is discharged, they're just going to delete everything. Some of them are going to choose to only save the personnel file and not do anything else. In our case, we are saving the personnel file. We are removing the soldier from all their user groups. We are sending a notification to the soldier saying that they're discharged, and we're adding that service record entry to their profile as well, or their personnel file. We are not going to delete service records. We are not going to delete combat records, and we are not going to delete assignment records for any soldier who's being discharged. The reason being because we want to keep all that data and all that information for when that soldier wants to come back, if they decide to do so, which a lot of times we have soldiers do come back. The way PERSCOM works in this new system in 2.0 is that when a soldier is discharged, they are technically still a soldier within the PERSCOM system. However, their combat unit is in a discharge. Their combat unit is called discharged, and their combat status is called civilian. So they're not going to show up on our personnel files on the front end because discharged is hidden, and they're not going to be shown as being a soldier on the front end because civilians don't get shown as a soldier. That said, in the back end, in the admin CP where we are, they're still going to be shown as a soldier. Just as I mentioned, they'll be in the discharge combat unit and they'll have a status of civilian. So that's the only way that the new PERSCOM system will work to allow us to bring soldiers back, to be able to keep their personnel file and their personnel records. So in this case, these options are not selectable. If you can hear me clicking, you can click on them. They're not going to work. I have that disabled, but I do have it visible because I worry that in a future update of PERSCOM, these settings may change, the defaults may change. So I want you, when you're processing a discharge, to just double check to make sure that these are pre-selected. If they're not pre-selected correctly, let me know. Contact me so I can make sure that we process that soldier's discharge correctly. If for whatever reason you do need to delete service records, delete combat records, delete assignment records for a specific soldier when you're discharging them, let me know. I will be able to do that for you. The only real reason I can think of that being a possibility of us needing to delete something would be if a soldier has a duplicate record, or they get added to the system as a duplicate by accident. Maybe two soldiers in RRO are processing at the same time and they both add him as a soldier, so one of them needs to be deleted. Then that may be a rare case where we do need to do that. But generally speaking, you're not going to need to delete anything. So in this case with Terrio, I'm going to go ahead and change the discharge grade to a dishonorable. Status is going to stay as civilian, and combat unit is going to be discharged. These are automatically set, pre-selected as the first options because we have those set in the settings for PersCom. However, you could change that to something else if you needed to for whatever reason. We won't have an instance where we need to change that because those are our only options that are available to us. But for another unit, they may have different combat units for different grades of discharges. They maybe have a honorable discharge group, or maybe they have a dishonorable discharge group. It just kind of depends on however they want to have their setup. Click on Discharge Soldier, and then he will be discharged. So you can see here, if we search in the soldier list, as I mentioned in the back end, he will still be listed as a soldier in the back end. His group is discharged and his position is civilian, but if we look back on our personnel files, you'll see that he is no longer listed as a soldier. So he's not there anymore. And that's the discharge process. If you have any questions or you need some help or assistance, please, by all means, contact me, and I will be happy to help you out. Thanks.